Hey everyone, Meteorologist Tuttle back with you again for this time for a little different treat I have here for you for tonight. As this time around, we're going to talk about everything you could possibly imagine when it comes to the roofing industry. And I know a lot of you have heard a lot of horror stories out there with the roofing industry. You'll have a lot of questions probably already, so make sure you get them ready here for this Facebook Live. You're going to talk to Jamie Ferguson from Ferguson Roof Systems. They've been a sponsor of AT's Weather for quite a while now. Great, outstanding company, family owned and operated, nicest people you ever see, genuine. I'm telling you, it's the place you want to do some business when it comes to Mother Nature, because unfortunately, we'll probably have a few storms next week that tear up a few roofs. We even had winds up around 70 miles an hour last night that probably did a little bit of minor damage out there across parts of Oklahoma. And that was without any storms. That was just the cold front. So you're going to get all kinds of crazy weather around here, which is going to lead to some roofing problems. So right now, let's bring in the man of the hour. Remember, get your questions ready here on Facebook. And we're going to put them up here on the screen for you, read them together. But Jamie, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you? Thanks for having the show.
You bet. Quite welcome. You know, it was one of those deals where even I myself just am very short on the knowledge base of all things roofing, even though I live and work and breathe in an industry that is directly tied to that. So I figured, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it because I know I'm not going to be the only one that benefits from this knowledge and this information. So thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
So I'll tell you what, we'll just kind of give us a brief overview again of who you are, what you do, how long you've been around the business, and
Okay.
then before we start to dive into a few questions.
Okay. My dad started this company in 1977, and I took over in 92 after he passed away, and we kind of turned it from remodeling homes, building homes, decorating, things like that, to more of the industry of insurance. Made it a little easier on the people. Rather than just walking up and asking for more contracts, it was just easier to work with the insurance companies to help people better understand their insurance process. It's kind of complicated. In Tuttle for 20 years now. Came out of Oklahoma City to Tuttle here, and we kind of service the whole entire area for residential and commercial roofing.
Okay. And so you plan on being around for a while. You're not what they call one of these fly-by-night roofing companies. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is a career. This is not just something that we do on weekends or when storms come in. This is something we do day in and day out, regardless of the weather.
Okay. So I'll tell you what. We'll start off. Just hit us with probably the most common type of roofing question that you get in your industry that you personally answer probably 100 times a day. I can see the phones are already ringing. So we're going to talk about that. By the way, there is a giveaway. And so, yeah, we're going to discuss that here in two shakes, so hang on for that. But, yeah, so go ahead and just kind of start with that.
Most of the things we get, people have a possible leak or they think they have storm damage or something. That's what we get a lot of. I think I have storm damage. I don't know for sure. Really and truly, they don't want to come out of pocket. It's very expensive sometimes to do a complete roof, and they don't want to come out of pocket right now. So they really want to know if they have storm damage. That's probably the number one thing that we have ask us every day.
And when you talk about storm damage, are we talking about shingles that have like a little bit lifted, maybe just a few have been torn off? Are you talking about certain size of divots from hail?
Well, what we try to look at is what the insurance company looks at. We don't want to give you a false reading that when we come out that we give you false hope that the insurance is going to cover something. So we try to educate ourselves on how they look at things. We do a lot of clinics, a lot of training on that. So when we come out, sometimes it's just like you just said, a lifted shingle. Most of the time, insurance companies really, even if they cover that, the deductible is going to eat it up. So it's not necessarily something we want to address with the insurance company. That's something we more or less do in-house. But the size of the hail, they're not looking for the marks on the face of the shingle as much as they are a busted mat underneath the granules that you see from the ground. So we look at those. They're going to measure off how many you have per slope, per square. Square shingles is 10 foot by 10 foot. So they'll take all four slopes of your house, and they will make sure that you have 10 different or 8 to 10 different damaged shingles in that particular slope to total out that side. So we want to make sure that we have that found before they even get there. So we don't want to call them out for no reason to get a claim put against you, which is actually absolutely the wrong thing to do.
Okay. Okay, very good. All right, I'll tell you what. Before we start to get into the questions, there's already a couple here on Facebook. Again, if you guys have some you dying to know, start typing in the comments section. We'll put them up here. But before we do that, real quick, there is a giveaway, and so let's get people tuned into what you're going to be offering there from Ferguson Roof Systems. Since let me put this little display up, and you can kind of tell us what it was that you picked up here today. And it's actually, if I look, it's over your left shoulder. So if you point to your left shoulder, that's hot off the presses, right?
It is. I just brought it in today. I just picked it up at the store, brought it in today. You know, each year we like to give things away. We get a lot of calls from customers or people that want to be our customer. We come out, we take advantage of that and get out and see them, but we want to give back often as we can. So each year we do a different giveaway this time of year. Kind of a thank you for even having us out. You do not have to purchase anything to be entered into the drawing. It's not one of those purchase and you get an opportunity. It's if you call us or if you like us, you're going to get an opportunity to win it. It's a Pit Boss. It's the 7 Series pellet smoker. It's really super nice, and I think it has 7 racks inside of it. It's all remote controlled down below. I've seen it all. It's one of the nice ones. It's really nice. We're trying to give it away so people can have an opportunity to smoke some meat or something for 4th of July. So it starts today. It will end June 28th at noon. We will announce the winner at that point. To be entered into it, there's several things that we would like for you to do as far as get an opportunity to get in. One, if you will go to our Facebook page, which is Ferguson Roof Systems on Facebook, and just kind of follow us and like us, you'll get an entry for that. If you have us out to your house, even if you have a new roof. A lot of our customers call us out this time of year before the storms get cranking up, that we can come out and make sure, and it's free, if they've got any kind of a pipe jack that's already coming loose, we want to make sure we seal that back up. We want to make sure we keep that rain out. If they've got a shingle that's slightly lifted, we'll go ahead and seal that down. Doesn't cost anything for that, but it's just an opportunity to get things settled down before the storms come. Last thing you want is water running into your house. So if you would call us out, even if you have a roof that's got put on from the last Norman storm, doesn't matter. We'll still come out, take a look, make sure you're ready to go. You get an entry for that.
Okay.
You do not have to buy anything from us.
Excellent. And I had to do a double take. I looked at the website from pitbossgrills.com. It says $799. So you did not cheap out on this one. This is going to be a good one.
No, it's really awesome. I'd love to have it myself, but they won't let me win it. So.
You mean you don't even get to test the merchandise just to see if it's any good?
No, not unless somebody invites me over to eat with them or something. I don't know.
There you go. That's a good way of doing it. All right, so it's time for a couple of questions. So let me go ahead and put this thing up here, and we'll get that thing triggered, and make sure that thing's working. So this is actually the first time I've done an interview here from AT's Weather, so we're just trying to make sure that all this is working. So there we go. There's our first question. It did come up. And it says, from Renee Johnson, how does shingles compare to metal roofs? That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a real good question. I mean, there's a lot of different ways of looking at that. There's all different levels of shingles, obviously. If you go, I would compare it to a class 4 shingle, because a class 4 shingle is where you're going to get your discount for hail impact or hail resistant shingles. And then your metal roof falls the same way. Your problem lies in this. We try to show the pros and cons of everything. The shingles, although they will last a long time, they will actually take more damage from hail than metal will. And if you get to the point to where it hails your roof out with shingles, it's easier to be bought by an insurance company. If you have metal roof, even if you use 24 gauge, sorry about that, folks. If you have 24 gauge metal, which is what most people have, if the hail comes through and just dents it, insurance companies most likely are going to call that cosmetic damage, and they're not going to pay any money for that. Although your roof's intact, you've got a dented roof, and they're just not going to pay for that. It would have to actually physically come through it or hit a screw head or bend one of the ribs down, and then they have the opportunity just to replace one small part. It's if you don't mind dented roofs, it's a good way to go, but there is a downfall to metal.
Okay, great. Another question. They're starting to come in. This is going to be from Katie Middleton, and she's going to want to know if you guys have the insurance company directly, or do homeowners pay the middleman? It's like
Homeowners, it's their contract.
Okay.
It is their contract. When you sit down with an insurance company, you do all the willing and dealing for your contract for your house. When I call contract, that's how you set your insurance up. You will decide your coverage. You'll decide your deductible. Obviously, there's 2 deductibles, one for everyday occurrence and one for hail and wind. Hail and wind is generally a percentage of what you have insured with the insurance company. And then once the claim is made, the paperwork will come to the homeowner. All checks will come to the homeowner. And then you're dealing with a roofing company at that point, and you would pay according to if it meets your standards when they finish the job, pay at the end. Never pay at the beginning, never pay in the middle, always pay at the end.
Oh, that's great point. So, question from Lauren Davis: do you service the Ardmore area? Because Oklahoma is a big state.
Absolutely. We have jobs currently going on in Elk City, Clinton, Tulsa, Durant. We have them all over the place. So we cover the entire state, southern Kansas, and North Texas.
Okay. Excellent. All right, I'm scrolling through here. Here's a good one. Let's see. This is from Hillary Cole, and she says, I see lots of folks using corrugated steel instead of shingles. Is this a smart choice here in Oklahoma?
That's a good opportunity right there. They've changed things around a little bit. So it's a strong point. It's installed a little differently as far as your roof. Not all roofs will be able to handle that, but you get somebody out and take a look at that. But you can put that on. It's a good choice. It's also class 4, so you get a little bit of discount on your insurance for that too.
Okay. Oh, I'm loving it. You guys are doing great because this is the time. Do not be shy. I mean, you can ask him, the most serious question you come up with and say, you know what? I really want to know. Should you get your roof checked every year? From Michael Hendricks. Great question.
That's honestly a great question because of this. Insurance has changed, and this is one thing that we try to keep up with to help our customers. Insurance has changed, and I'm not going to call anyone insurance out, but some of them like to only cover hail damage if it has occurred in the last year from the date of the claim. So if you called one in today, but it happened 13 months ago, some insurance companies will not cover that hail damage. You have to wait till the next storm. It could be bad enough that you can't afford to wait till the next storm. So yes, and this is why all of our customers that come to us, they get treated every spring. All they have to do is call in and book something. It doesn't cost them anything. We go out and check it every spring, just in case, because there are, and this, there are pockets of hail that fall through that doesn't really fall into the on the notice of the news or what have you. It just happens there.
Right. Okay. Let's see. We'll do another question. Jody's running the questions behind the scenes, so I have no idea what's coming next.
Uh-oh.
I know. She might slip in her own question.
Yeah.
Tanya Wolf Bell. I've got to read this. Is a lot of type here. Do you agree that metal roofs offer superior wind resistance, i.e., metal panels interlock and overlap when attached to metal roof underlayment?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And yes, as long as it's installed correctly, because let's just go with 2 types of standing seam, which is hidden fasteners, which is what you see on most commercial buildings. And then there's R panel, which is what a lot of times what you see on residential. As long as they use the correct screws, the correct length, if it's going into, most of them will be going into wood, but your pan screws and your lap screws, as long as they've got them on the ribs, held down on the ribs, because that's where it's going to be lifted at from the rib, yes, it will withstand wind better than a shingle will.
Okay. All right, let's see what the next question is. By the way, you guys are doing great with your questions, so as technical as you want to get it done. All right, so here's the next one, which is, again, Lauren, Brooklyn. Is there any additional cost to having an estimate done with us not being near Oklahoma City? So I think she also asked if you did Ardmore, but now she's asking, is there an extra cost for the distance you got to travel?
Guys, there's never a cost to have us out to look at anything. Never. We never charge for anything regardless of how far I have to drive. And in all honesty, some days I take off and I drive to Elk City and I'm in Tulsa by lunch. That's just on us. That's just part of our service. We never charge for an estimate. You should never pay for an estimate.
Okay. All right. So here's another good question. When this is from Sandra Parker. When there's a hailstorm, do you call the insurance company or a roofer to check it?
My suggestion is never call the insurance company first. I'll tell you why, because sometimes hail can fall and it can be large. It can be up to 2-inch hail, but when it falls, it hits about a snowball and it really doesn't cause any damage. You can do a little bit of look-see yourself without getting on the roof to hurt yourself. Look at your gutters. Your gutters are telltale. It's aluminum. It will show you the hail damage. You'll see the little dimples coming out of your gutters. That will give you a real quick what your roof took. If your gutters are not damaged, you don't have any hail damage most likely on your roof. But the claim comes last. You got plenty of time to make the claim. Most insurance companies give you a year to make that claim. Within a year to make that claim for hail. So it's not a rush to get to do. So call your roofer, let him come out and take a look for you, and let him bring down pictures so you can actually see what he's looking at.
All right, so I'd have followed before we left that. I didn't want to miss this because it kind of ties in. So what would, and this might be part of that, what is the biggest mistake that a homeowner can do after their home gets hit with storm damage?
Panic, unless it's tornado, that's called panic. But after a hailstorm or windstorm, the last thing you want to do is just panic. There's homeowners that get hurt. They try to get up there and patch things themselves. Let a professional get up there. We climb on them all day long. Not that we can't fall, but we are on them all day long. We have the proper shoes and the proper attire to get up there. And then they panic. They get a hailstorm come through, and then you have a flood of roofers that come through knocking on your door. And sometimes they catch you off guard. And although they may be the best roofer in Oklahoma, it's just, they can catch you off guard in a vulnerable situation. And you can actually sign a paper that binds you to them. And they may really not be in the state of Oklahoma, or they may not even live in the state of Oklahoma. They may be brand new. So it's best to not panic. Have your ducks in a row as far as who you would like to as a roofer already. Let them come out and do your work for you.
Okay. Another great question. Is it Diana? So she said, my roof is, quote, shedding gravel. Does that mean it's a possible problem?
Possible. It's always possible. It probably happened after that last ice storm that we had here.
I'd have half the roof on my front porch.
Yeah. We got a lot of phone calls, and they were from existing customers and customers that were not ours. And I called the manufacturers and I called the adjusters. The manufacturer's claim was this: they put a little bit of extra granulars on there for when they install them and when they're shipping them to you, and things like this of this nature. It doesn't really hurt anything when they start coming off. The insurance company, unless that mat is damaged on the back, it can lose all the gravel. They're not going to pay for that. So if it's losing a lot, it goes by the age, it goes by how many storms went through. The best thing, if you see a lot of gravel coming off like that, is just, give us a call. We'll come out, look, bring you pictures, and see what we see.
Okay. All right, new question from Katie. What materials are taking a long time to get in right now due to COVID?
Well, at first, we only got a couple colors on shingles. We got black and we got weatherwood, but now everything's catching up on itself as far as the residential side of things. They still do not offer all colors, but they offer more than they did. Commercial roofs, a different story. You are very limited on commercial roofs. It's few and far between as far as that goes.
So let me tie in a question that's going to be kind of the next thought process, probably from a lot of people, is if materials are now coming in because of COVID is over, now things are starting to get back to normal, the price is likely, like anything else, has gone up over the last 2 years. So if the price of material goes up during this period of time, after, say, somebody's already come out and looked at your roof, what happens in that situation?
You have a roofer that runs Xactimate, which Xactimate is insurance pricing, third-party pricing. It's the price chart that they use. We run it here at the office, so we see it changes every 30 days according to cost of living. Anything goes up, it moves with it. Or if it goes down, it moves with it. And I'll give you, for instance, we was at a customer's house about 3 weeks ago up in the Agri-Cushing area. Their claim was from last May. They hadn't done anything yet, so I took it and we added about $5,000 or $6,000 to it by updating the price list to today's prices. So if you run a roofer that has that ability to run that, the insurance company will accept it because it's their price chart.
Okay, good. Great. Okay, so we've got another question?
Yeah.
All right, let's put up the next one. This is actually kind of fun. I'm really enjoying this.
I'm usually always the one asking the questions. Now I'm getting asked.
I know. Hey, and for one thing, I'm talking about weather. I get to ask the
Yeah.
questions. So Dale wants to know: you usually strip the old shingles off before installing a metal roof, or install over the top of the old roof?
State law requires only one layer of roofing on your residential house, so you would have to strip them off. If you're going to do a metal roof, the best way to do it would be strip it all the way off and inspect the deck for any kind of dry rot or storm related damage. Once you get that off, then you can go to an ice and water shield instead of a felt. The ice and water shield is much more sturdy than a shingle would be at that point. And you can get high temp on that or however you want to do it. But you put the ice and water shield on, and then you can go to your metal.
Okay. All right. Now, I do have a YouTube question. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get YouTube going tonight, but I did. So, John, thanks for yours. Does state law require roofing companies to collect the deductible?
Yes. Well, yes, they do. It is a state law that, let me see if I can word this correctly so everybody understands me. If the insurance company comes out and says it's a $20,000 claim, and you have roofing companies that say they will eat the deductible, and you could have $1,000 deductible, that means you're going to pay $19,000. The insurance company will take your claim and basically cut it in half. So they'll give you $10,000 up front, and there's obviously $9,000 on the back plus your deductible. To get the second half of the money, the roofing company will have to bill the total amount, including the deductible. So once they say that, to bring it to $20,000, to get the 19, and if you do not collect that $1,000, it is insurance fraud. There's no way around it. From the roofing company and the homeowner will have to sign a contract. It is insurance fraud.
Okay. All right. Well, we got another one. It's kind of tied into the Ardmore one. We kind of already answered this one. Is, do you service areas outside of Oklahoma City? And you said all around. Now, give me a border. Like, give me the farthest you will travel.
I have a license in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas doesn't require one, so we will go anywhere in those states. Actually, I've been called down to El Paso to do roof down there. So, I mean, we will go all over. We really don't care where we go, but we want to be able to service you. So, if it's there, we do the roof, we're going to service it. There's no doubt about it. So there's really no borders besides. It doesn't require once we'll go there. Arkansas does, and we don't have that anymore. So we'd probably stay in the States right now.
Okay. Before we answer this one from Lisa, I want to tie into that. You're talking about leaving to go to out of state to work on roofs. Now, we know that when something hits, and you mentioned earlier in this broadcast, you get a fly-by-night group that just scours the areas hit by storms and knock on your door. So now it's going to be in reverse. So when we are talking about these outside roofers that come into Oklahoma, you mentioned earlier about licensing. What else should there kind of be for red flags on that?
As long as somebody is state licensed, they've done their due diligence to be able to work in any state they want to work in. In Oklahoma, there's two different licensing. There's a residential license, which you see usually on the side of the truck or on their business card. Like ours is 233. That's our number. I think they're all the way up into the 5,000 and 6,000 now. That's a residential roofing license, just that number, and it's your number with the state of Oklahoma. There's a second license called a commercial endorsement that allows you to do anything that's commercial related. So flat roofs, schools, metals, whatever, on a business, you have to have the commercial license to do it. Like I said, the ones that we work in, we make sure that we're licensed in those states to do that. And I'll be honest, the reason we are working in Kansas is because one of my sales guys lives there, or he's from there. So he wants that connection to reach back in. So we went ahead and got licensed in Kansas. And those are tests and insurance. Insurance goes really extremely high when you go out of state. But we are on the up and up as far as our license goes. That gives us the credibility to work in those states.
Okay. All right. So let's go with that question that popped up. I think it was from Lisa. Is it still up there? Yeah. How do you insulate a metal roof without using spray foam?
In residential, it's really hard to insulate as far as going underneath like that, because you're insulating, you're using foam. So if you use a foam and then you screw in, you can actually take a screw farther down into the foam than you will in the next one. That will make your metal oil can. So if you look up it and you start seeing these waves in it, that's an oil can situation. So to make your metal look good, it has to be on a flat, solid surface. So your plywoods or your deckings up there, that has to be that way. And if you want it insulated, besides that, you're going to have to go underneath and foam or just drop more insulation into your attic ceiling.
Okay. All right. We got another question, and it is about, because we kind of talked about this, we mentioned the giveaway. So let's pop that one up. And it is from Michelle, and it says, do you do free estimates?
Absolutely. 100%.
All right. Straight to the point. I've got a YouTube question again. This is going to be from Brian Walker. So let me get this one going. Let's see here. Is it going to play? Come on, baby. You can do it. Oh, I think I have to press another button. Hold on. There's so many buttons I got to press. There. Oh, that's John's comment. Come on, Aaron. You can do it. Let's see. Let's see if this one will go. Come on, switch for me. Come on. It's not going to switch for me. Oh, YouTube, don't be this way to me. That's okay. Do we have another Facebook question? I'll try to get this one to switch.
Try this one.
Okay. So we'll get back to YouTube then because it's not playing nice for some reason. That's okay. All right. So we got another one from Facebook, and it is Diana. Can you bring up the GL policy we talked about? Your recommendations for when you hire a roofer.
As far as general liability.
Yes.
Is that what she's asking?
Yes.
It is state law that they do have to have general liability insurance and workman's comp. I kind of want to relate back to somebody and not to knock them, but it's knocking on your door. They're trying to work. I understand that. But if they catch you off guard and get on your roof and they happen to not have workman's comp and they fall, the homeowner becomes liable for that. So that's why you need to always make sure that if they have their state license and it is in good standing, that would mean they have workman's comp and they have general liability insurance. I think the state requires a minimum of, I think it's $500,000 or $400,000 for residential. I believe ours is $3 million is what we have, but we're doing commercial. We're doing large commercial, so that changes things a little bit.
Okay. All right. Now I can't get, for whatever reason, I can't get his question to pop up there, so I'm just going to read it. Sorry, Brian. When does filing a claim become more advantageous than just paying the deductible or a little over out of pocket? I've always heard that filing a roofing claim is the worst thing to do.
I mean, if you have the pocketbook to pay for a roof, keep in mind, I mean, we are getting another price increase in the middle of this month, and this will make 8 in the last year and a couple months. It's continuing to go up. If I was going to make a claim, and it would just do a scenario, if I went up to your house today and it's in April and I found hail damage enough to make a claim, I would take my homeowner and tell them, we probably really don't want to make a claim until after May, get into June, get through the hard storm season. Because if you make a claim right now, and we happen to have some very large hail come through, and it has been known sometimes to go through shingles and into decking, that would be a secondary claim. So we want to make sure that we're through storm season as much as possible. It's Oklahoma, but as much as possible. That's when I would try to make a claim. If you want to pay for it out of your pocket, that's your choice as far as that goes. But that's part of the insurance program, is just to utilize that. Most roofs in Oklahoma are 8 to 10 year roofs generally before you have to replace them.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Jody, do we have any other
Yeah, I have this one.
comments on Facebook?
Yeah.
All right.
It should be coming right away.
Here we go. Yeah, my computer's loading up something. So I don't know what it's doing. It's fine. It'll get there. Let's see. Until it pops up, try to undo it and then redo it.
Yeah.
See if it'll show up. It's going to be from Lauren Davis again.
Yeah.
And she said, our roof was replaced about 3 to 4 years ago with composite shingles. For insurance to cover a new roof, does damage need to have occurred, or how does that work?
Not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, me either. Let's see. Our roof was replaced 3 to 4 years ago with composite shingles. For insurance to cover a new roof, does damage need to have occurred?
Sure. I mean, within the last year, if whenever you want to make the claim that the storm had to have happened within the last year, and it has to be damaged to where they're looking at it. And like I said before, they're looking at 8 to 10 damaged shingles per slope of the house, so north, south, east, and west. And they will go through all of that and make sure that's all damaged. Because sometimes when hail falls, it mainly only gets maybe the south or the west. And so the east and the north, there's no problem on that one. So an insurance company would only give you half a roof at that point.
Okay. Another question on YouTube said, I've got roof sand coming out of my gutter down spouts by the piles. What is going on here?
That's that granulars again. That's something. It depends on how old your roof is. If it's fairly new, I wouldn't worry a whole lot about that. But if it's probably 5 years or older, I would probably get somebody out there to take a look at it. It's very possible it could be. Did they say they was from Norman? Is that where they said this from?
Where did they say? Didn't say.
Didn't say.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sometimes you can have, it's just such the storm went through Norman, it can show up later. Once the hail hits it hard enough, it just continues to come off in those areas. So it could be something that is worth looking at this point.
Okay. And then I got the little thing to work here again. So Sean Graham, what shingle would you recommend that would stand up to large hail? Here we go. This ties into those class 4 impact resistant shingles.
That's it. But if I knew that real question, me and him be millionaires. It's just how it works. If we could figure out that shingle, the best thing to go is class 4. That's what I have on my own home. As far as class 4 shingles, I love the Certainty brand. They give one of the better warranties out there. And warranties are something that customers need to look in besides looking at just the 30-year warranty or the 10-year warranty. On a class 4 Certainty brand shingle, you get a 50-year non-prorated warranty. So for 50 years, everything is covered. Let me kind of explain that just a little bit. If you put a 30-year roof on your house, it's a good shingle. It's what I used to run on mine, but it has a 10-year basic warranty, and then it starts going down after that. So it's prorating itself. But in that 10-year span, the only thing the warranty is going to cover is the replacement of the shingles. So they're going, if something happens from the manufacturer standpoint, and it won't cover anything besides putting them back on. So you got to watch your warranties. But that class 4 from Certainty is 50-year. It's what they call an impact resistant shingle. So it has the thicker matted back on it. So it gives you, that's what they're looking at right there. It's just the back of the mat.
Okay. All right. Jody, do we have any others? All right. We got another one. Let me, I think I turned that button off, so give it a second to load back up. This is going to be from Lisa Larson. Can you tell me the difference between a standing seam and a panel metal? AG panel metal roof.
It's an ag panel. You're looking at an ag panel is more something you would find on the barns when they build these barns around, or some houses have those. And on an ag panel, your screws are on the exterior of the metal, and you will get the screw that has the neoprene sleeve on it, and they pull them down through the pan and through the ribs. So that's what you normally see there. A standing seam has what they call hidden fasteners. So you'll fasten one end to the deck with the clips, and then the next end will basically clip over the next panel, and they'll lock together, and then you would fasten to the other side. So you have hidden screws. So there's nothing besides the metal of the roof showing. There's no fasteners at all. So that's mainly what you're looking at.
Okay. All right. We got another question popping up here. Oh, phones are still ringing.
They ring all the time.
Your phones
Which is good. We love it. We love it. Doesn't bother us.
That's a good problem to have. All right,
Yeah.
Man, a lot of metal roof questions tonight. Let's see. This is from Michelle again. Do metal roofs interfere with Wi-Fi from a satellite?
Yes, they can. Absolutely, certainly can.
Okay. Well, there you go. That was a short, simple, easy one. Any more, Jody?
Yeah.
Okay. Got another one here. This is going to be from Katie. And let's see here. It says, tell us what else FRS does, but in other words, Ferguson Roof Systems, besides roofs.
We do just about anything. Most houses, we try to stay within the insurance scope of work. So you're looking at, besides the roof, you're looking at gutters, paint, windows, doors, garage doors, sidings, We do anything fence. That's usually what's on the insurance scope of work. We have done a lot of other things through our career, so we can do other things such as the inside work, the sheetrock or painting. But we had a customer the other day that needed new tile put through her house. So we have very good people that we know that we recommend on every aspect from cement to whatever you want to put on your house that we would actually refer to somebody. So we can cover all of it.
Okay. Got just a couple of questions here that I'm going to sneak in before Jody sinks in the next one. Do I need to get 3 bids like my insurance company advises?
Well, if you would like to do that, just to do that, you can. In a 3 bid situation, and if you're looking at just the bottom dollar versus the insurance dollar, years ago we could kind of get away with that. They would give us a lump sum of money, and then we could get 3 bids, and we would generally, everybody would take the lighter one, and then we would have a little bit of money to do what we need to do with. Anymore, if you take less of a bid than the insurance, all you're really doing is saving the insurance company money. The thing to do is, if you would like to have 3 people come out, is really truly what you want to do is interview the roofing company, get the information from them, make sure they have a license, the very first thing, license, the workman's comp, the general liability, the references, how long they've been in business, their warranties. That's what you really want to look for in your 3, if you want 3 bids. It's not about the dollar. And then once you decide on a roofing company, figure out if they can work in the budget of what the insurance company allowed, plus the deductible to get all the work done. That's probably the better way to address that one.
Okay. And since you did mention money and you mentioned companies, so is it legal to have a roofing company cover the deductible?
Absolutely not. There are ways that you can, as a homeowner, help yourself. Let me see if I can explain this a little better. But if there are several scope of work, if there's several different jobs to do, such as roofing, gutters, there's some inside paint. Let's just say there's inside paint, and let's say the insurance company allowed $500. If you do that yourself, or you can use that money towards your deductible, that would be the legal side of it. But to just cover it, absolutely not. That is insurance fraud. If you look on the bottom of your scope of work, it will tell you any intent to defraud or deceive the insurance company or the insurer is guilty of a felony.
All right, we don't want any felonies, so let's not.
You want to sleep at night. You don't
Yeah.
want that.
Let's not do that. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see. Craig has to say, with the high winds we see in Oklahoma, do you recommend using plywood over OSB? It's a good question.
As long as they properly built it from the beginning. If on the thickness of the plywood or the OSB, it becomes different. We generally don't see any difference in them of the coming off as far as what is underneath it. When it comes to plywood or OSB, I do believe plywood's a little bit stronger. OSB's, even though it's higher, it's a little bit cheaper made product. It really is not as strong. In my opinion, I'd rather have plywood. But most insurance companies would ask us to use OSB.
Okay. All right. Do we have another question over there, Jody?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what the next one is. So try that one again. See.
You don't have me right there.
So it doesn't turn red over there.
It's right here, but you don't have me
Okay.
turned on there.
All right. So we have 2 controllers, and I think this system is like a husband and wife team fighting over the same joystick on a video game. I don't think the video game likes it. All right. So let's see. Since Katie said, since Jamie asks everyone else this, what does he do in his free time?
Oh, brother, she's talking about our show we have on here. My free time. Well, I don't have any free time right now since all that wind came through. But I came in here right before the show started. What I like to do in my free time is just be with my family. That's just all. Be at church with my family, or just be at a function with my family, or have people entertain people at the house. As far as that goes, I'd like to have this smoker right here so I can cook more meat for them. That's about it.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, as we wrap this up, so we've gone now, I can't believe we've blown through 35 minutes just like that. So that was an awesome list of questions. So again, we're going to have the giveaway. So I'm going to put this back here on the screen. It's just over your shoulder, your left shoulder. You've already purchased it. So it's already in-house. It's ready to go. This is what it looks like. It's a Pit Boss 7 Series wood pellet vertical smoker. Retail price of $7.99. So they're not messing around over there at Ferguson Roof Systems. They're getting you a good one. So you can enter the drawing, and what you got to do is you got to call that number. So that goes to Ferguson. Enter the Pit Boss giveaway. And again, how can they enter to have a chance to win this?
There's several ways. If you call that number, you can do it that direction and just ask us to come out and take a look at your house, free of charge, no obligation, just to make sure we're ready for these storms we've got coming, as you said earlier, Monday, Tuesday, I believe. Make sure it's ready to go. I mean, it took a big test last night with this wind, so it'd be a good opportunity right there. So that would get you an entry. If you'll go to our Facebook page, which is Ferguson Roof Systems, and follow and like that page, that'll get you another entry. And that's all we're asking for right there. We're not asking you to purchase anything. Somebody's calling, I think. So they're already on the list, it looks like.
That's good. Hey, I mean, somebody's hands that to you in your face. I mean, of course you're going to.
And I promise you, we're not sitting back here calling the number. I promise you that.
So this is our Facebook page, Ferguson Roof Systems. So you can chat with them there live here on Facebook. You can go, it's just facebook.com/Ferguson Roof Systems, just as it's spelled. And then you can watch the live broadcast we're doing there, and you can ask them all kinds of questions, and they can help it out. Make sure you check out their show, Keeping It Local. And it's for all the local businesses in and around the Tuttle area. So that includes Bridge Creek, Blanchard, Newcastle. I drove down there, and we did an interview there just kind of about the weather and about my business and what I do. But my goodness, you guys started just a handful, and all of a sudden now you're just running like show after show after show. So it's becoming very popular.
It is. We've had over 300 people on the show already. It's been a year. In last month was a year. We had over 300 people on the show so far, and we just love it. Introducing businesses to the people out there to get them, try to help them get a little more custom build up.
You know, and honestly, that's a lost art form, which is a community helping out the community, right? We're so used to having a corporation tell us what we need through advertising from the big players, but we kind of forgot about the rest of us are all a bunch of mom and pop little man shops, and it'd be nice for us all to get together and talk about what it is what we do. So you guys basically tapped into that audience and are having huge success. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you very much.
And great for the business as well. Thanks again for doing what you do. Thanks for being a sponsor here at AT's Weather. You're definitely the best roofing company that I've ever come across, and so I'm proud to have you guys as part of the team. So I'm not going to wish any, long hours on you, but we are in spring storm season, so I'm sure that's going to be coming for you. So try to get some rest. But thanks again for coming on tonight with you and your team and your family. So I appreciate your time, and thanks for answering all the questions out there from the viewers. I think that was very helpful, very educational. So thank you very much, Jamie.
Well, thank you very much for having us. We love all the questions. It just shows people out there that really are concerned about everything that's underneath their house. They want it on top, real secure. So we appreciate those questions as well.
All right. And with that, we're going to wrap it up here for tonight. So again, thanks everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it and your participation in this. And of course, you know me, I'll be back again a little bit later. We still got weather to talk about. Weather seems to never end around here. Good night, everybody.
Aaron Tuttle here. It's storm season in Oklahoma, and with that comes torrential rain, high winds, and hail. To protect your home and your family from these threats, the one roofing company you should trust is Ferguson Roof Systems. They've been providing the best in roofing services for nearly half a century. Ferguson is Oklahoma's full-service roofing company, certified with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and a 5-star rating on Google. And with Ferguson now offering Class 4 impact-resistant shingles, now is the time to trust them with your home's roof. Get started today at FergusonRoofSystems.com.